Hey guys, Zomfox here, and today we're going to be talking about some great UFL performances in Week 8 of the 2025 NFL season. Now this week, for the first time in a while, we saw a couple of non-special teams players have just outright great games. One of them was from one of the best highlights of the entire weekend, and another one was one of those that doesn't really show up on the official stat sheet, but on the secondary stat sheet was insane. And we still also have a couple good special teams performances. So let's get started with Tillman. Look, I had to start with this one. This interception and mainly the return was something else. If you didn't see this one, it was an absolutely wild play to see, where Tillman ended up picking off Dak Prescott. I believe it was like the last throw Dak had. He was able to get up because he wasn't touched and was able to make a couple mans. He basically broke a couple tackles, made a couple guys miss, and had a really, really solid return for about 36 yards. Wasn't a touchdown, but man, for a big man like him to pull off what he did, it was an insane return. This was a great thing to see. We have talked about it for weeks now that Tillman has been a bit of a disappointment for a lot of this year. Yes, I know not everything is the stat sheets, but he was a guy that was appearing on the stat sheets weekly when he came to the Broncos during midseason last year. This year it hadn't been as good, but this game was a massive step in the right direction. Did have a solo tackle, had a couple other tackles, but mainly the fact that he had this great interception and return, it was a thing of beauty. It was a wild return to have. I mean, it was really the highlight from this game, all things considered. This is a classic Dallas blowout, as Dallas just got blown out in this one. It wasn't even really a game. Denver just pwned them. They won 44-24. This pick wasn't anything that really did a big, it wasn't a massive play in a sense of how much it mattered. But the fact that it became such a big highlight because of how great the return was, it's great to see Tillman finally gets, a massive play on the board from this season. Really cool to see the former Stallion pull it off, so had to start with him. Next is going to be Jalen Redmond. Now, on the official stat sheet, he really didn't do anything in this game. However, in the pressure department, the PFF, the secondary stats, man, did he have a great game. He has joined DeForest Buckner as the only two players, or one of the only two players weighing 275 pounds or more to have 9 pressures in a single game. He had 9 in this game against the Chargers. You want to talk about just great? You want to talk about just hustle? They were getting blown out. This is like Myles Garrett against Patriots. Like, he was getting blown out. The Vikings were getting creamed in this game, to the point where they obviously lost Carson Wentz, so their already questionable quarterback room is getting even worse potentially. Even if JJ comes back, is it really an upgrade? Depends who you ask. The point is, they were getting blown out, and Jalen Redmond still kept the gas on the tanks and kept going to the quarterback and got 9 total pressures. He's also just up there in overall stats. When you look at like PFF grades, overall pressures on the season, a lot of those kind of things, then things that aren't on the official stat sheet, he's been one of the best players in the Vikings, just period, in terms of overall value for the team. Vikings fans are loving this guy. He is doing everything right for this team. Now, even on the stat sheet department, he played 13 games last year. He's played 7 so far this year. So, for all intents and purposes, he played half a season compared to last year. He is already 2 tackles higher than all he had last year, with the impressive point being that he's already over the solo tackle total. He's got 3 sacks, which is better than the 1 he had last year. He has a forced fumble, and he's already matched his passes defended. The only real things he isn't doing as good is stuff and stuff yardage, where he's at 7 versus 18 last year and 4.5 versus 5.5. Overall, though, he is having statistically a much better season than he did last year. He is on pace to double his total tackles, double his solo tackles, double his assisted tackles, sextuple his sack number, obviously get on pace to 2 forced fumbles, and he's still on pace to double his passes defended and almost double his stuff total. And that's only if he plays 14 games, which is 1 more than last year. If he plays the full season and he keeps up the pace he's going at, he's going to just unfathomably improve his overall stats. He has been great for the Vikings, been one of the few bright spots in this very questionable team. Basically, it's been Jordan Addison comes back, looks really solid. Quarterbacks, yikes. Most of the defense not looking as good as they need to, even though they have, Brian Flores coordinating them. But what Redmond has done this season has been very impressive. The former Arlington Renegade himself. Again, the guy that a lot of people were shocked at making the final roster, not because they had anything against him, just was kind of one that people didn't see coming. Ended up being a rotational guy last year, getting more minutes this year. They paid a couple guys. A lot of people are saying they shouldn't because of what Redmond's doing this year. So big props to him. Now the Packers. This one is a bit of a double one. Number one, Daniel Wellen is still legitimately one of the best punters in football. Bro averaged over 50 yards a punt. Again, 3 punts, averaged 50.7, with his long being 56. He's not even getting this carried by one massive 60, 70-yard bomb. So, already, don't even need to talk about Wellen. That's all it needs to be said. Bro is legitimately a top 5 punter in the league, maybe even top 3. As for kicker, this is where it gets funny. Brandon McManus this season is 9 of 13. That is a 69% accuracy. Now, extra points, he has also already missed 1. Now, it is only 1, but it's still 1 out of 15. Lucas Harvichek was 4 of 4 in total field goals and 6 of 6 in extra points in the 2 games he played. And he also had a 61-yarder in there. Harvichek has just been better. Like, Harvichek only played 2 games, but we've seen 5 games from McManus. Neither guy's played a ton of games this season, obviously. McManus has played 2x the amount of games, and he has missed so many field goals. In his first game back, he missed 2 field goals at the start of the game. He ended up going 2 of 4 in field goals and 3 of 3 of extra points. And his long was only a 28-yarder. Now, here's the thing with McManus. McManus played in Denver for most of his career. Remember, Denver is really the easiest place to kick field goals because distance kicks are super easy because you're in that thin air. Yet, historically, McManus is awful at distance kicks. Even when he left Denver, he still sucked. I mean, with Jacksonville, he was 5 of 10. In today's NFL, not being able to kick a 50-yarder is really, really bad. And look, is he really accurate in shorter kicks? Yes, he is. But is he as accurate and as consistent as Nick Folk is? No. Nick Folk kicks more frequently, the past few years, and is even more accurate and can actually hit distance kicks. To put it simply, McManus is what people will try and tell you Nick Folk is, right? The aura about Nick Folk is he is from below 50 the best kicker in football, and after 50 he's bad. That's McManus. Except he is not the best kicker sub 50. That's still Nick Folk. McManus historically has not been a truly great kicker. He's always been a solid kicker. He's been somebody that can get you those short field goals and you know you're going to count on him. But the second it becomes distance, doesn't matter if he's in the easiest place to kick long field goals, doesn't matter if he's in the hardest place, he can't do it. He's only attempted 6 50-plus field goals this season, or during his time with the Packers, he's attempted 7, and he's made 3 of them. He is 0 of 3 this season. Again, Harvichek kicked a 61-yarder. It's just wild, because especially with McManus and his age, he is an older kicker. He's not like, again, he's not Nick Folk age, but bro's still an older guy. And it comes down to this. If you were the Packers, would you rather have A, the guy that came back to the NFL and in 2 games was perfect, 5 for 5, including extra points and field goals in both games, versus Brandon McManus, who in his first game back missed 2 field goals, and even if you eliminate those 2 missed field goals, already had 3 missed kicks on the season. And even last year, he wasn't perfect. He was almost perfect. He missed 1 total kick, which is really solid. Again, historically, he's been a really solid extra point kicker. But he's not elite. And this game really was an ad for Lucas Harvichek, more so than it was, hey, McManus really is our guy. Now there's a legit controversy. My best guess is they're going to trot McManus out next week. If he misses even a single field goal, even if it's a 60-yarder, if he misses a single field goal, he's probably getting benched at least for 1 week. That's my gut reaction, because if you're the Packers, you've got to be thinking, man, Harvichek was really good for us for those 2 weeks. And JPR, again, he had that really bad game against Carolina, but again, JPR was on the Vikings. A lot of Vikings fans probably wish they kept him. You don't want to see something like that happen to you again. So that's the Packers. And speaking of Nick Folk, we're going to talk about Nick Folk one more time. I feel we have to again. Number one, he really is the unsung spring football to NFL success story because of the fact that, he was an NFL legit veteran and then went to the AAF, but that AAF was important to get him back in the NFL. Of course, we got to talk about Nick Mangold. Tragically passed away insanely young on Sunday. Nick Folk played with him on the Jets. Remember, Nick Folk has been in this league for a long time. He played with the Jets before he left for the AAF. He was a teammate of his, and in this game, he ended up kicking the extra point, which would give them the lead. It wasn't a walk-off, but it was in the last couple minutes of the game. The first win of the Jets' entire season, the day Nick Mangold passed away, and that his former teammate ended up going a perfect 5 of 5 on kicks, with 3 of those being field goals, including a 46-yarder. Right now, there is a very real argument that from a pure right now, Nick Folk is the second or third best kicker in the league. There's a legit argument for it. The best is Aubrey. The fact that Aubrey is 100% on field goals, including multiple 60-yarders, and has only missed one extra point is insane. But speaking of extra points, the only kicker that is truly 100% accurate is Nick Folk. That's it. That's the list. One guy. Because while Graham Gano seems like hasn't missed, he's only played 3 games. He's been hurt most of the season. So in terms of actual consistent players, Pinheiro, Aubrey, and Folk are the only guys who have 100% field goal accuracy, but Eddie and Brandon have missed an extra point. Now, granted, Folk has not had that many opportunities to kick extra points because the Jets' offense has been putrid most of the season. But he's still been perfect. Now, what's even more crazy is, again, the 50+. This is a guy that is a horrid field goal distance kicker. That's what they all say. They all say he's a terrible distance kicker. He's 5-5 on field goals. And as we talked about before, that 58-yarder he kicked a few weeks ago is his career long. So he is getting better at distance kicks while still being accurate. I believe he's closing in on like an absolutely absurd 100 straight makes. I think it's like under 50 or under 45. It's one of those fives of like 40, 45, 50. He's like closing in like 100 straight makes, which is just unfathomable how insane that is. He is consistent. Like legitimately right now, if you were to pick one kicker that had to save your life making a 40-yard field goal, all respect to Aubrey, the only guy right now in the league you'd pick is Nick Folk. Because he just doesn't miss them. He just can't. Again, not even missing an extra point. He is insanely good right now. He is legitimately, he has been a top 5 kicker, just nobody's wanted to say that because he has that stigma around him with the, distance kicks. But since being on the Titans, he's been a top 5 kicker every year. With the Titans, he was insanely accurate year after year, and this year he's continuing that. The Jets getting this 39-38 win over the Bengals was insane, and again, a large part of that was Nick Folk. Nick Folk misses a single kick, they lose. Because even if he misses the extra point, I really do believe the Jets lose this game. Because if this game goes to overtime, it's going to be trying to stop Jamar Chase and T. Higgins with Joe Flacco throwing the football versus Fields continuing to do what he was doing in the fourth quarter. And even though they had momentum, I don't think they would have been able to pull it off in overtime. I just got that feeling that something would have happened. They wouldn't have pulled it off. The fact that he made all of his kicks in this game was huge. It was a big reason they won. But overall, that'll do it. This has been Zom Fox. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you're notified whenever I upload any videos. Still haven't heard any real news regarding the UFL. I know that there's now been posts coming out about, potential mascot designs, basically teams asking the fans what would they like the mascot to look like and all that. So maybe we'll get something like that soon. Again, we're still waiting on confirmation about which teams are moving where. Not even confirmation, but overall, what are the uniforms going to look like? I know there's some teams that might be getting new uniforms, maybe the whole league. A lot of question marks there. So make sure you're around for that. And as always, guys, have a great night.